If you were ever a child, wait, never mind. If you were a child, you probably remember wanting to learn karate and how to fight and how to be a ninja. Well, you have one person to thank for that, and it's Bruce Lee. Everyone sees it as his life starting rough and then working out at the end, but as it turns out, the only rough part of his life, as we see it, he was somewhere in the middle. He went from riches to rags to riches once again, and died at the young age of 32. This is the story of the Dragon Warrior and the philosophy that came with him. Bruce Lee was born in November 1940 in a Chinese hospital in California. This was around the time where different races had different places to go instead of sharing the same hospitals or even buses. He was then taken to Hong Kong and was raised through his teens there. He starred in a lot of movies as a child and was named the Red Dragon because of his short temper and because Hollywood was low-key kinda racist. He began fighting in gangs just because he thought it was fun. Compared to his brother, he was an absolute mess. He was constantly getting in trouble, sucking at school, and always arguing with his parents who lost respect for him in his later teens. He started wearing weird things in public just so that people could look at him weirdly so he'd have a reason to fight. That then led to the police to tell his mother that if he didn't calm down, he would be kicked out of Hong Kong. He then went to Seattle to live with family friends that gave him a terrible job as a dishwasher. This was something he was not used to because his parents were quite rich since they were actors as well. He had to start looking after himself, and along this part of the timeline he started teaching people his way of martial arts. He wanted to start training people in Hollywood so that he could get the money, which he was charging about $800 an hour. This was so that he could learn how to get back into Hollywood and how to be an actor again. He was teaching dance before this, where he would throw in a few karate moves, which led to him training other random people in a parking lot. Back in Hong Kong, when he would fight, he was always the best until someone came around and was using something called Wing Chun, which was new to him. He wasn't the best, so he immediately wanted to learn it. He went to learn it and began to form his own martial art called Jun Fan Gung. I definitely didn't say that right. That is what he taught in Seattle, to friends and anyone wanting to learn. His acting career started up again and then quickly ended when he was the sidekick for the Green Hornet. He played Kato, which in Hong Kong began to be called the Kato Show because of their love for him back home. He was out of work after the Green Hornet and began teaching people such as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. This was also around the time where he had gotten his girlfriend, Linda, pregnant, which her family was very upset about because once again, they were kinda racist. Bruce Lee was invited back to Hong Kong to appear in a movie called The Big Boss. After he became such a star in his hometown, he went back and acted in it, and all of a sudden became a celebrity across Asia, which then led to being a star back in America. In all of his movies, they were centered around fighting, which made the widespread effect in America of opening up random dojos and teaching karate and taekwondo. He died later due to what many people think was a brain aneurysm, and was thought of as a star and a hero to many even to this day. Lee was not a religious man and studied tons of Western and Eastern philosophy. He studied mostly Buddhism, Taoism, and Jiddu Krishnamurti. He believes that his fighting was inspired by his love for philosophy, and as he stated, the fighting was a metaphor for all of his readings of the topics. He can be thought of as a stoic as well due to certain quotes as, "Be water, my friend," and "To change with change is the changeless state." Taken from BruceLee.com, I found a meaning for some of these quotes. Empty your mind. Be formless, shapeless, like water. You put water into a cup, it becomes the cup. You put water into a bottle, it becomes the bottle. You put it into a teapot, it becomes the teapot. Now water can flow or it can crash. Be water, my friend. He wanted to let life take him as much as he takes from life. He believed in being natural and really liked water as most Eastern philosophies do. Most Asian philosophers follow inspirations from rocks and water and trees, whereas Western philosophers follow nature and the body. He studied both and created his own. Jeet Kune Do, his philosophy, was mostly inspired by his own personal experiences and his fighting as well. Listening to the podcast by The Art of Manliness about Bruce Lee while I was on a run really reminded me of being a kid. It gave me nostalgia for watching the Green Hornet and pretending I was fighting bad guys at our cabin near a lake. I began running near streams and meditating on cliffs as they described he did. Bruce Lee may not have always been the best role model, but it proves that being rebellious has something great in it if you believe it is really the best thing to do. Bruce Lee inspired North America like no other movie star did, but now is the time that we stop following his inspiration and begin starting our own, to change the world for the better once again.